Malta is now offering €25,000 to young people who agree to give up their driving license. Not switch to electric, not drive less. Just stop. Hand it in, walk away. Here's €5,000 a year. Now enjoy the bus. And no, this isn't satire. It's official government policy as from January 2026. So what's going on here? Is this genius? Is it desperation? And what does this say about life in Malta today? Let's break it down. Here's how it works. You're 30 or under and legally resident in Malta, you can voluntarily surrender your driving license. In return, the government will pay you €5,000 per year for 5 years. That's €25,000 in total.
Loads of money!
You cannot drive in Malta, abroad, or use a foreign license. Nothing. You are forbidden to drive, full stop. If you're caught driving, payments stop and penalties apply. At the end of 5 years, you can reapply, but you'll need 15 hours of lessons before getting your license back. The government has allocated €5 million for the scheme. Once that's gone, that's it. First come, first served. We'll get into my thoughts about this shortly, but first let's add some context so that you try and understand why Malta is doing this. Malta has one of the highest car ownership rates in Europe, and of course the island is very small, congested, and without sufficient parking spaces. Unlike larger countries, Malta can't just build endless new highways. You know, there's limited land, and so instead of just expanding the roads, the government is trying something else: reduce the number of drivers. Specifically, reduce young drivers before car dependency becomes lifelong.
They say 36 new cars hit the road every day, but the roads are the same from the night Southern way. We've got 1,500 engines for 1,000 drivers. In this gridlock hunger game, we're all just survivors. I'm driving to the bakery, it's just down the street, but walk-ins for tourists, I'll stay in my seat.
For some people, €5,000 a year is significant. Students, young workers, people who barely drive anyway. These people may be tempted into thinking this is a smart move. Public transport in Malta is already free for residents, and so if you live centrally, this might feel manageable. However, if you live outside the main towns or your place of work, this may feel totally impractical. 5 years without a license is a long commitment. It isn't like giving up your takeaway coffee for a week. We're talking about giving up your mobility, your right to drive a vehicle. When a government is willing to pay citizens not to drive, it tells you something. Traffic congestion in Malta is real, and to be honest, it's highly annoying and frustrating. It's a systemic problem which affects productivity, air quality, stress levels, and daily life. And as an FYI, that's important if you're considering moving to Malta, because traffic is one of the most common complaints from both locals and expats. This new scheme shows how seriously the issue is being taken. Of course, not everyone agrees. Some say improve public transport first. Others argue the people who take the money may be those who barely drive anyway, so traffic won't actually change that much. And then there's fairness. Why only under 30s? Why not invest the €5 million into infrastructure? All valid questions. Other countries offer incentives to scrap old cars, switch to electric vehicles, use public transport. But of course, Malta has tried this one as buses are free for local residents. But paying people to give up their license entirely, that's certainly rare. And so Malta is running one of Europe's boldest mobility experiments right now. So would you do it? Would you give up your driving license for €25,000? I'm sure that some may think it's a smart trade-off, while others will think it's absurd. I personally think it won't make any real tangible difference, but more importantly, I also wonder how it would work in practice. How will it be enforced? Let's say you're 2 years in and one particular night you fancy a kebab, and so you take your dad's car keys and off you go. You've eaten your kebab, but now you have the police waiting by the car. Are we talking just penalties if caught, or are you thrown in jail? Will your neighbours be spying on you? Will your foes be ready to grass you up? And what happens if this scheme doesn't work? Will the government then try and price out young drivers And if that doesn't work, just impose a blanket ban. Of course, I'm being dramatic and playfully speculative, but I do feel that perhaps this is a little bit of overreach by the government. I know it is voluntary, but we all know how voluntary can quickly become mandatory. It will be interesting to see how this plays out, but either way, it tells us something important about modern Malta. Traffic is no longer just an inconvenience, it's shaping policy. And if you're thinking about relocating here, that's something worth understanding. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where people stand on this one.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our website if you're looking for more information and resources about relocating to Malta, or if you want to book a video consultation or purchase one of our handy ebook guides. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.